Have you ever wondered if you're getting enough protein to stay fit and healthy? On the flip side of that, have you ever wondered if all of those recommendations you're seeing out there and all of those what I eat in a day videos about getting 100+ grams of protein in a day are telling you to eat too much protein? Well, today we're diving into how much protein you really need and why it's actually crucial for your body, especially as we're getting older. Whether you're looking to tone up, maintain your muscle mass, or just feel more energized, understanding protein is key. By the end of this video, you'll have all the info you need to optimize your diet and take your health to the next level using protein. I'm gonna help you figure out exactly how much protein to aim for and how to use it to meet your health and wellness goals. I'm Kelsey Ale, your go-to for all things gut health and women's wellness. I'm a certified functional nutritionist and I've spent years studying holistic health and helping women just like you feel amazing in their bodies. So let's talk about how to make protein work for you. By the way, if you want more tips on nutrition, women's health, and how to age gracefully, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the bell to be notified whenever I post a new video. So first things first, let's talk about the recommended dietary allowance, the RDA for protein. The RDA suggests about 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight for us, but since most of us aren't measuring ourselves in kilograms, here's what that looks like in pounds. That's roughly 0.36 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Now, if we really want to understand what this means, what it means is that's the minimum you should be eating, minimum amount of protein you should be eating if you're sitting on the couch all day. But for most of us, especially if you're active, that is just not going to be enough. Women who are physically active, whether you're into running, strength training, yoga, anything in between, we typically need a lot more. We also need more protein in general as we get older. Women in particular start to lose about 3 to 5% of their muscle mass every year just from aging alone. So we need to do something to counteract that so that we can maintain healthy muscle mass and stay physically capable as we age. With this in mind, we can update that recommendation to around 1.4 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, which works out to about 0.64 to 0.91 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So for a woman who weighs 150 pounds, that's anywhere from 96 to 136 grams of protein a day. So now maybe you can start to see that the 100 grams of protein a day isn't actually all that crazy of a recommendation, but let's break it down a little bit more. Imagine you're someone who loves doing yoga in the mornings, and then you hit the gym a few times throughout the week for strength training. Your muscles are actually working really hard and they need protein to recover and grow stronger. Or maybe you're getting into running, you want to train for a half marathon. Your body is under a lot of stress. Protein is crucial for repairing the tiny tears in our muscles that happen as a result of exercise, which is ultimately how you get stronger over time, repairing those tiny tears. When you increase your protein intake, it supports that muscular repair, it helps you with recovery time, and it keeps your energy levels steady. Think of it like this. Protein is your body's building blocks, and without enough of it, you're basically trying to build a house without bricks. You wouldn't want to cut corners on the materials you use to build a solid house, so the same goes for your body. So if you're serious about your fitness or just staying healthy, upping your protein is probably going to be essential. Now, when I talk to my friends about protein, and I was talking about them about this the other day with them, and I mentioned trying to get around 100 grams of protein a day, they were like, no, that's like way too much, I can't do it. That would be like eating a mountain of food. So to be fair, we were talking about it in terms of chicken breasts. And so yeah, if you're thinking about eating 4 large chicken breasts a day, that sounds pretty intense and also boring. But here's the thing, 100 grams of protein doesn't have to mean just chicken breasts. There's so many other ways to get your protein in that can be a lot more fun and make it feel a lot more manageable. So what can 100 grams of protein a day actually look like? Let's go ahead and break it down with some real life examples. And importantly, let's include some dairy-free options because I know a lot of us, myself included, are lactose intolerant. Congratulations if your digestive tract can handle all of that yogurt and cottage cheese, but personally, I am not blessed with enough lactase to manage all of that milk. So today we're also gonna explore a variety of protein options that won't upset your stomach. Let's go ahead and walk through a sample day that shows you just how easy it can actually be to get this much protein in. So for breakfast, you can start your day with something simple and satisfying. I personally don't love eggs, but they are a good source of protein. So I sometimes like to go with 2 eggs, which gives you about 12 grams of protein right off the bat. Pair that with half a cup of oats cooked with water or almond milk, or even better, trick yourself, or I trick myself, cook the eggs into the oatmeal for custard oats. And then you top your custard oats with a couple of tablespoons of almond butter for extra protein, maybe some berries for flavor, a little sprinkle of hemp hearts or other seeds for added texture and protein. This combination you just created and added on gives you 12 more grams of protein, so your total breakfast protein count is gonna be 24 grams, which is not a bad way to start the day. By mid-morning, if you're feeling a little hungry again, this can be the perfect time to whip up a quick protein smoothie. Just toss a scoop or 2 of your favorite protein powder. Maybe it's a plant-based protein powder, or I've been using paleo-friendly protein powders. Chuck it in a blender. I have also been alternating between like hemp protein and beef protein. This alone, the protein powder alone, can give you 20 grams of protein. I like to throw in some greens like spinach, a banana, some frozen strawberries for natural sweetness. I love half an avocado or so for added fats. Sometimes I add almonds, which even boosts the protein even more. Blend it up with some milk, and you've got a delicious protein-packed snack totaling at least 21 grams of protein. Then for lunch, you can aim for something really filling and nutritious, and this is where you can plug that chicken breast in. 4 ounces of grilled chicken breast will give you a whopping 35 grams of protein. Pair it with a cup of quinoa salad, which is nice and light. Quinoa itself is a decent source of protein, and then you can add some chickpeas, some fresh veggies, a really nice tangy vinaigrette. That adds another 8 grams of protein, so that brings your lunch total of protein up to 43 grams. If you want to toss in another snack in the afternoon, you can just keep it super simple, maybe a handful of nuts. A quarter cup of almonds gives you about 6 grams of protein. If you want to have that with an apple, that's a really nice balanced combo. Super satisfying, super easy, and again, 6 more grams of protein to add to your daily total. To wrap up the day, have a delicious balanced dinner, maybe 5 ounces of baked salmon or 4 ounces of skirt steak. That gives you around 30 grams of protein. Serve it with a side of steamed broccoli, maybe some roasted potatoes. Then you can also toss on like a half a cup of lentils or lentil soup on the side, which brings another 9 grams of protein. And that can give your dinner a total count of 41 grams of protein. So your grand total for the day, when you add everything up, you're gonna be looking at about 129 grams of protein for the day. So not only did you hit your protein goals, but you did it with a really wide variety of delicious foods. And again, that's just one example of how it could play out. As you can see, it's totally possible to hit that 100-gram mark without feeling overwhelmed or like you're eating nothing but chicken all day. Again, mix it up with eggs, plant-based protein powders, nuts, beans, and legumes like lentils and chickpeas, and even fish and meat, and that'll help keep it really interesting and balanced. And for those of you who are dairy-free, like me, again, plenty of great options in there. Plug in those plant-based protein powders and plant-based protein sources. Remember, protein powders come in all flavors and types. Pea, hemp, and brown rice are some really popular ones that also have higher rates of bioavailability, meaning your body can absorb them more efficiently. Nuts and seeds are a decent option for adding little protein boosts to your main meals. They're also really easy to snack on. And then again, legumes like lentils and chickpeas are packed with protein and fiber, plus they're super versatile. You can add them to salads or soups, or even make them into veggie burgers. Now that we've talked about how much protein to aim for, let's talk about timing, because there's been some conversation about whether or not when you eat your protein matters, especially for athletes, which is really anyone who works out on purpose. So those of us who are exercising could consider ourselves athletes. Most of us who exercise, or if you've worked out with a personal trainer, you've probably heard about this. But if you haven't, protein timing is based on the idea that there's an ideal window of time after you work out, that if you eat protein within that window, you'll see the most muscle benefits and the best recovery after your workout. And it turns out the idea of an anabolic window, or a special time frame in which we absolutely have to eat protein after working out, or else all our hard work is lost, isn't necessarily true in the way we thought it was. We used to think we had about 45 minutes to an hour to get in our protein shake post-workout, but it turns out that the time frame may be more like 5 to 6 hours, so it's a little more casual. You have a little more flexibility there. If you're working out on an empty stomach, you may need to get your protein in sooner than if you eat something before you work out, so maybe fasted workouts should have a protein shake within about an hour or so after working out. And while protein consumption post-workout may be helpful, ultimately what we're finding now is that it does come down to your total daily protein consumption, or how much protein you're eating total in the day, that ultimately matters. But most of us can assimilate or digest and absorb only about 30 to 35 grams of protein at a time. So I think this makes a stronger case for spreading your protein out throughout the day so you can digest it all more effectively. And starting your day off with a solid protein breakfast also helps keep your blood sugar stable, which means more stable energy levels throughout the day. So if you're gonna think about protein timing, maybe think more about getting protein in your first meal and then spreading it out throughout the day rather than worrying about timing it around your workout so specifically. But let's bring it all back to the original question from a different perspective. Is this too much protein for you to be eating, even if you can manage to squeeze all of it in? Are there any negative side effects we need to watch out for? Well, maybe. That depends on a few different factors, and we'll talk about those in just a second. But really quick, let's talk about the major concerns with high protein diets and what can happen when protein goes wrong. Now, one of the main concerns you may have heard about with diets that are too high in protein is kidney dysfunction. Now, this is particularly true if you have pre-existing kidney issues. Uric acid buildup and kidney stones are possible side effects of eating too much protein for your body. When your kidneys are overworked, they can have a hard time filtering out the waste materials that we generate when we metabolize protein, and this leads to very uncomfortable and potentially serious problems. So if you're someone who has had kidney issues in the past, you should probably think seriously about talking to your healthcare professional and be more cautious around significantly increasing your protein intake. Another issue with high protein diets can be dehydration. High protein intake can lead to increased peeing to flush those metabolic byproducts out, which means you need to drink more water to keep your system balanced. If you're not drinking enough water to compensate, dehydration could be a risk. Symptoms like dry mouth, dark urine, and dizziness can all be signs that you're not hydrating enough when increasing your protein intake. And of course, this is especially important for people who live in hot climates, or if you usually do really intense physical activity that causes you to sweat a lot. You should think more seriously about increasing hydration along with your protein. And you also may notice that I keep saying too much protein for your body. So what does that even mean? The amount of protein you should consume depends a lot on your activity level, your age, and even your overall health. It really comes down to whether your body can actually use all the protein you're consuming. So like I said before, as women, we naturally start to lose muscle mass in our 30s, and this is partially a function of hormone changes that we start to experience as we age, but we do start to lose about 3 to 5% of our muscle mass a year, and by the time we get to 65, we can actually start to lose up to 8% of our muscle mass a year. So it is important to make muscle building one of your priorities in order to avoid this, and protein consumption has so much to do with muscle building and muscle maintenance. The bottom line is to tailor your protein intake to your individual needs. Always listen to your body, consider your activity level, and remember that more, or a lot more, isn't always better. And quality and timing are just as important as quantity when it comes to protein. Working with a nutritionist or a healthcare provider can help you figure out the right amount of protein for your personal health and fitness goals and your lifestyle. So that's definitely an option to pursue if you feel like you need or want a little bit more guidance on that. Now, let's touch on how protein can be your best friend when it comes to weight management and achieving your body composition goals. High protein diets have been shown to really effectively support weight loss by helping women shed fat while maintaining muscle mass. So if you're trying to lose weight, eating more protein really can help ensure that what you're losing is fat and not muscle. So let's dive a little bit deeper into this. When you lose weight, your goal is usually to lose fat and not muscle. Muscle is metabolically active, which means it actually burns more calories just to maintain muscle, even when you're not working out. So the more muscle you have on your body, the higher your metabolism is, even when you're just sitting on the couch. So by eating enough protein, you're preserving that muscle mass, which keeps your metabolism revved. And this is particularly important because, again, as we age and with our hormone shifts, our muscle mass naturally declines and we start to see some unwanted or frustrating weight gain. So eating enough protein can help kind of combat this process. Protein also works wonders for appetite control. It increases levels of hormones that make you feel full, like GLP-1, and decreases levels of ghrelin, the hunger hormone. And this means that you'll stay more satisfied after meals and you'll be less likely to mindlessly snack. So imagine this. It's mid-afternoon and you're starting to feel hunger pangs. So instead of reaching for a bag of chips or a cookie, you grab a high protein snack. Maybe you have a cup of cottage cheese with some fruit or a handful of nuts. That protein and those healthy fats are gonna help you feel full and satisfied, so you're not gonna be as tempted to overeat later. And it's really a small change, but it makes a huge difference in how you feel and how you manage your weight. Last but not least, let's talk about the quality of your protein, because not all proteins are created equal, and the kind you choose can sometimes make a big difference. In general, animal protein is considered to be higher quality than plant-based protein, and this is because animal proteins are complete, meaning they contain all of the necessary amino acids for muscle building, while plant-based proteins don't. And they require protein combining to get all the amino acids you need. Animal proteins are also usually higher in bioavailability, meaning it's a lot easier for your body to break down and access and absorb that protein, whereas plant proteins tend to be less bioavailable. Your body has to work harder to access and absorb the protein, which ends up meaning that you have to eat a larger quantity of these protein foods that are plant-based to be able to absorb that target amount that you're aiming for. Now, it's always best to try to get your protein from whole foods. Think like chicken, fish, meat, eggs, beans, legumes, nuts. Protein powders like whey, brown rice, and even beef protein powder can be really convenient and effective ways to meet your daily needs, especially if you have a busy lifestyle. So definitely don't shy away from using protein powders as a part of your diet strategy. So there you have it. 100 grams of protein may actually be a great number for you to aim for to meet your wellness and healthy aging goals. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Also, go ahead and check out my other videos on gut health, women's health, and more. Remember to stay hydrated and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.